Hi, I'm David Noble and welcome to the channel. Do you ever find yourself wondering who has the best job in the world? I often find myself watching racing programs and thinking, that seems a good way to earn a living. I mean, there's Grin Chandhok, who gets paid to talk about something he loves, and when he isn't doing that, he gets paid to drive historic Williams Formula One cars. Certainly worse ways to earn a living. Alex Brundle, driver who's carved out a great reputation for himself in sports cars, co-commentator on Formula 2 and Formula 3, was one of the early analysts of Formula E at the beginning, and when he wants time away from all that, drives things like Jaguar E-types in classic races. So, hard lives. But while I was thinking all about all of this recently, I watched Ferrari's piece remembering the 40th anniversary of the death of Gilles Villeneuve. Charles drove Gilles' 1979 Ferrari around Fiorano, and René Arnoux talked lovingly about his friend. But there was also a fleeting shot of another guy, though. You know, this guy. No, not Charles. Him. Andrea Bertolini. So why am I suggesting that he has the best job in the world? Well, let's go into a bit of background. See, Andrea was born on the 1st of December 1973 at Sassuolo on the outskirts of Modena, birthplace of Ferrari. So the guy grew up like 5 kilometres away from Maranello. And as a child, his father would drive them there so they could watch the Ferraris, the heroes of the time, like Gilles Villeneuve, Didier Pironi, testing the cars around the Fiorano circuit. And young Andrea would stare in wonder through the fence as the cars went past him. At 11 he started karting, but kind of the money wasn't there, as we know, racing's bloody expensive. So at 16 he had to give it up. Kind of afraid the dream was over. The boy looking through the fence wasn't one to give up. When he left school, he applied to work for Ferrari. At 19, he became a test driver in their road car division, eventually working in their experimental department, one eye always being on the racing division. And shortly after joining Ferrari, he started karting again. In 2001, he got his chance to step up to GT racing in a Porsche, of all things. Basically, on this understanding from his boss that he did it on his own time. Despite the fact he was driving a Porsche, the people in charge were kind of keeping an eye on him all the same. His results were strong enough that halfway through the season, he was informed that from the following season, he'd be racing as a factory driver for Ferrari. Racing in the FAA GT category, he'd take the NGT title in 2003, and championship success was rewarded with a testing role in 2004 for the Ferrari Formula One team. Now, this means working closely with Michael Schumacher, and the experience of working with Michael would help him out hugely with his other role that year, developing the Maserati MC12 into a future GT1 World Championship winning machine. Between 2005 and 2010, when the project was wound up, it would win 4 international titles. During the development year of 2004, but it wasn't unknown for him to go straight from a 4-day test of the Ferrari F2004, which he still considers his favourite car, and well, why not, to a 4-day test of the Maserati. Just always driving during that time. Very, very rarely any time off at all. So, I mean, to this day, he still races GTs in Pro-Am categories, and as of the 9th of July 2021, had a GT racing record of 267 races, 55 wins, 110 podiums, 9 international titles, and a class win at Pro-Am and Le Mans in 2015, which is all very impressive. But if you look at the roster of other drivers that can be seen wandering through the corridors of Fiorano, the likes of Marc Genet and Giancarlo Fisichella, still doesn't explain why I said he has the best job in the world. Well, Ferrari, when their old F1 cars past a certain age, sell them to people. Some end up in garages or private collections for their owners to wander around and look at whenever they feel like, but some end up staying at Fiorano with the Corsa Cliente division, and their owners will either come to Fiorano or go to selected tracks each year to drive them, under the supervision of guys like Mark, Giancarlo, Andrea, Oliver Beretta, or Davide Rigon. Now, Andrea is the local lad and has 30 years as part of the Ferrari family behind him. And the Gilles Villeneuve car that Charles was driving was one of the Ferraris that was sold to the Giovinazzi family because they were one of Gilles' big sponsors back in the day. And, Andrea was tasked with talking child through the procedures when running the 43-year-old car, because no one on the planet has driven more different Ferrari Formula One cars than Andrea. He still remembers the first Ferrari Formula One car he drove in 2001. It was the Ferrari Formula One car from 1995, the last of the V12s. That moment, his first Formula One drive, etched in glory in his memory. Now, I mentioned his GT record as of 9th July 2021 for a good reason. It was at that date of a big commemoration for Ferrari and a personal celebration for Andrea himself, the 70th anniversary of Ferrari's first F1 win, and to celebrate, the car would be doing demo runs at the next Grand Prix. But before it could do that, someone would need to take the 1951 375 for a shakedown test. And that would be the 500th such test that Andrea had completed. 500th. You get your head around that for a second. Yep. So, to commemorate his contribution to the Ferrari family, Ferrari ran a small series of videos on their website entitled Andrea Bertolini 500, with him talking about his career, some of the classic cars he's driven, including every single championship-winning Ferrari. Yet the man has had days where he's taken like Michael's F2004 Ferrari out in the morning, parked it in the garage, and been back out on track on Niki Lauda's 76 312T Ferrari 20 minutes later. As Fiorano is his second home, it's no surprise that he also took a role with the Ferrari Driver Academy, and I remember seeing tweets from Charles Leclerc back in 2017 about meeting Uncle Andrea when they were out one evening. For the longest time in his life, it looked like he'd never achieve his dream of becoming a racing driver, but he made it happen. His advice to up-and-coming racers being simply to work hard every day, give 110% energy, and to believe in yourself. In Ferrari's video on Andrea Bertolini 500, he's asked what the best 3 words were to describe his work at Ferrari. Responsibility, passion, dream. Because inside he's still that boy looking through the fence. We managed to get Andrea's autograph on like 4 odd occasions, I think it is. And he always seems to be very genuine, humble, and pleasant individual. Now, I appreciate I'm viewing this through Ferrari fan tinted glasses right up to that. So, if anyone has better suggestions for the best job in the world, then let me know in the comments. But anyway, take care, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.